All right, welcome back. Our new session is all about lists. Okay, lists. The so at times what we do is we create variables to save some information. Let's say that we have to create you have to save the age of someone. You say age is equal to 10 and that creates that particular variable, and you can use that age to either print it, or you can use that age to do some calculations on it, etc, etc. Now oftentimes what happens is you might need not just one variable, you might need multiple data to save. Okay, multiple data of the same type. In that case it makes sense to do something called a list. Okay, if you are familiar with other languages like C or Java, list is similar to very similar to arrays, but they are much more powerful, okay, and much more convenient to use in Python. Okay, so let's quickly look into how you create a list. Let's say that you want to save say fruits. Okay, you want to save the names of some of the fruits. The way you create an list is you say fruits. So you give the name of the variable you want to, just like you do it for a single value, and then you give the square brackets, and let's create some fruits. Let's say this is apple, mango, pineapple. Okay, I'll stop the that's all. Now you can print that fruits and you will get all those elements. Okay, so it's essentially a list of 3 fruits. You can access each of that fruit by giving its position in that particular list. Okay, so let's say that I want to access apple. I can say fruits of 0. Okay, and this is if you're familiar with other languages, this would be very common for you. But if Python is your first language, the way counting happens in programming languages is that it starts from 0. So this is the 0th element. Even though in real life we say this is the first element, second element, third element, in programming this is the 0th element. This is the first element and this is the second element. Okay, it's a programming convention. Don't ask me why it is the case. When programming languages were created, that's how they started off, and that's how they use it right now. Okay, but there are some weird languages that start with 1. For example, MATLAB arrays start with 1. Anyways, it's a convention. Get used to it. Now so if I say, moving along, let's say that I want to figure out the first fruit in the list of fruits. I say fruits of 1 and it gives me mango. Okay, now let's say I want to add more elements to it. Okay, up until here everything that we did right now can be done in other languages, and it's similar to other languages like C and Java, but this is where it diversifies a little. Let's say that I want to add information into it. I want to add let's say banana into our list of fruits. The way you do that is you say fruits dot append, and whatever you want to add, you say banana, you give it over there. Okay, now if I print fruits, you will see that it has an additional fruit, and that is banana. Okay, and it automatically appended to the end of the list. So let's say I want to add, I don't know, kiwi. So the way you can do that is you can say append kiwi, and if you print fruits, you get all the elements. What if I want to remove some elements? The way you can do that is you can say oh, one second, before we remove elements, let's see how we can now append automatically inserts information into a particular location, isn't it? Into the last location. What if I want to do it in between? The way you do that is you say fruits insert which location you want to insert in. Let's say that I want to insert in say the first location, which essentially means it will come after apple over here. It will come after apple before mango. Okay, what do you want to insert? Run out of fruits. What other fruits do we have? Orange. Okay, orange. Okay, yes. Oops, I forgot the to part. Yeah, I forgot that I have to mention the index at which you have to insert that. So let's just do that, and look at this. Orange has been inserted, and it has been inserted in the first location, not at the end of the list, but somewhere in between. Cool, right? The way now, what if you want to remove elements? Now if you look at it, the length of the, so you can find out the length of a particular list by saying len of the list name, and it gives you 6 over here. Now if I'll do one more insert just to show you what is happening with length. Okay, this time I'm going to insert on the third position, which means that it will be inserted after 3 elements. And let me insert Goa. Okay, I'm not sure if that's the right spelling. I'm horrible with spellings. Let's just do this. Now let's see fruits. Fruits also have a Goa, and I'll do a length of fruits, and it gives me 7. Okay. Now this is another feature that is cool about Python, is that lists are dynamic. Okay, with C and Java, when you create arrays, you essentially have to specify the size of the array as soon as you create it, and that size of that array cannot change all through the program. Whereas in Python, you can change this. I mean, you don't do it, but Python does it. Okay. So the list is dynamic. Its size changes whenever you add or remove elements. We haven't talked about how you remove elements. We will very quickly. But I wanted to mention out that you can change the size of the list. How do you delete an element from a list? You use the keyword called del. Okay, and you specify whatever you want to delete. Okay, let's say that I want to delete I don't know, I want to delete the first element. Okay, now look at this. Did you observe what happened? What happened was, so orange, what was the first element? Orange was the first element, and now there's no orange over here, right? You have the rest of the elements, but you don't have this. So if you say delete thing, this is to delete this a specific fruit element, an element on a specific index. There's one last way you can delete. The way you can do that is you can say fruits.pop. Now what this does is it deletes the last element in the list, and it also returns it, as in it also prints that element. Okay, so you can, now if I say fruits, you have apple, mango, guava, banana, but you don't have kiwi. Okay, so that's about it with regards to fruits. Let's have a very quick wrap up. So you can create, whenever you want to save multiple data, not just one data, you have to use a list. A list is very easy to create. You just say fruits is equal to all the elements, and you can access individual elements by giving an indice. Okay, you can lists are dynamic in the sense that you can add and delete elements, and the size of the elements, the size of the list automatically changes. You can add at the end of the list by saying .append, or you can also add at an appropriate place by saying .insert. Okay, you can find the length of a list by saying len of the name of the list. You can also delete a particular element by saying del fruits of that particular index, or you can also delete the last element by saying .pop. Thank you.